We're back again, folks. My apologies for the weird camera angle. My iPhone is totally full, totally incompetent when it comes to figuring out my memory issues, and I'm paying for all these iCloud storages, and it's not uploading, so I am having to resort to use another device, which you are now seeing me record on. Got a review for you. This is going to be a 3-in-1 review. We are reviewing the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. So I only had the original How to Train Your Dragon here on Blu-ray that my kids had been wanting me to watch with them, and we Amazon Primed and rented the other ones for $3.99 a piece. So today we're going to be doing some dragon talk, and it's not my usual subject matter, a kids movie, but over the last 3 nights I watched all these films and I thought to myself, well, who knows what my subscribers want to hear me talk about. It's something unusual, not something that would normally be in my queue to watch, but the kids wanted me to watch it and I did. I didn't even say I suffered through them. I honestly really enjoyed it. So now we're going to get into the first movie. And I'm not going to go too in-depth because we don't have enough time, and I don't want this to be a 20-minute. I'm still going to keep this short and brief and just kind of give you my overview on all 3 of these films. So the first How to Train Your Dragon film came out in 2010. I remember hearing about it, but at that point in my life, I wasn't going to go see an animated film. So the IMDb score on that movie is 8 out of 10. 99% Rotten Tomatoes score. Google users 89%. It won an Academy Award for the Best Animated Feature. And it was directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois. Sounds French. Anyway, me and my personal assessment of this film, I would give this movie, the original, 4 out of 5. It was good. I really enjoyed it. There was some things, I'm not even getting deep into like the characters' names or anything like that. I will say it is a loose adaptation of a 2003 book of the same name. It takes place in a fictional Nordic land called Berk. It really bothered me that they were like these Nordic people, but a lot of the elders kind of sounded Scottish to me. I don't know why. That really annoyed me. The whole premise is these Norwegian-type, Viking-type people, they're wanting to kill the dragons, and they view the dragons as the enemy, and then the son, who is the main character, he wants to save all the dragons, and he realizes the goodness of dragons when he meets Night Fury here, a.k.a. Toothless. And I am now getting an email link that I gotta jump onto a sales meeting, so we will pause there and circle back around. Bear with me, folks. 2 hours later, my meetings are over, and we're here to discuss the second installment of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. So, part 1, we went over what it's all about. He discovers that dragons are friends, not foes, and then culturally he has to overcome everybody else in his little village that dragons are not the enemies, and live up to his father's expectation because he's kind of viewed as the weakling, and the father wants him to be this dragon slayer and future chieftain of the clan. And I just want to say one thing really quick. To me, the main dragon, seems like a cat, and it looks like my beautiful cat Murray that I have. They kind of just act very cat and dog-like and just very lovable. That really struck a chord with me. It gave me all the feels, which is why I was at 4 out of 5. It just made me happy. I walked away from that movie feeling happy, and apparently people did too because it made $494 million at the box office in 2010. That movie was followed up by How to Train Your Dragon 2. They put a lot of thought into that title, folks. That came out in 2014. 7.8 out of 10 IMDb, 98% Rotten Tomatoes score, 89% Google reviews, and me, I was 4 out of 5 on the second installment of the movie. That movie, I don't want to give any spoilers. It just kind of follows along and kind of sets up this other stage of now they're having outside battles with other people that think dragons are evil, and it just kind of like more dragon talk. I don't want to give any spoilers in case... These are all kid-friendly movies. 8 and under are my children's ages, and they were all loving the movie. So that's part 2. Highly respectable movie as well. That one made $621 million at the box office and comes in at 102 minutes. Last night, we watched the final installment at this point, 2019 release, Part 3, which is not called Part 3. It's called How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. They find this, they're looking for this whole edge of the world secret dragon sanctuary. That one kind of went a little bit lower on the rating scale, but not much. 7.4 out of 10 IMDb. And we do kind of see from Part 1, Part 3, they're kind of a slower rate, a slight dip in the ratings. 90% Rotten Tomatoes, 84% Google users, and I was 3 out of 5. It wasn't my favorite. It kind of wrapped up everything. That one was a $527 million gross box office sales, 104 minutes long. It introduces kind of this dragon love interest to the original Night Fury dragon / Toothless. I don't know. It was very... My kids said it felt a lot longer. And I don't know. I just felt like there was already this epic battle in part 2. And then there was like another epic battle in part 3. And it was just kind of... Were they stretching it out? Could you have just wrapped it up in part 2? Not really, because they wanted to tie up some loose ends. Like the main character has this girl that everyone's expecting him to marry, and you kind of need to see the conclusion about that. And it does finish everything, right? Which I won't get into it. It wraps it up, but I don't know why it just didn't strike a chord with me like the first and second movies did. That's my brief summarization for these 3 films. I only have the one hard copy on Blu-ray. I don't have the other 2. But even as an adult, it was still good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the character development. I liked the animation style. DreamWorks, kind of outside of the realm of going to your Pixar, Disney-dominated animation film, which we'll get into that in another review. There's another dragon movie that I want to talk about in a separate review. I like it. It's also a program on Netflix, too, which I don't know if it's exactly related, but it's in the universe. Until next time, we'll see you then, folks.